Hi guys, welcome to the second episode of The Metal Intent, the show where we have fun conversations with my music content creator friends. We try to get behind that intent of what they're doing, see how that can help inspire you to get somewhere close or just get anywhere you'd like. So today we have our second guest, which I think the 3 episodes are going to be with content creators that I've been with since their very start. And also my very start. So this is Keyan Houshmand. How are you doing, dude?
Good. I'm gonna say one thing before we get started. Yeah. Because a lot of people get it wrong, and YouTube butchers it all the time. It's Keyan. Oh, okay. That's how you actually pronounce it,
right?
But like, yeah, no, it's fine. Like so many, like my whole life, bro. It's
of course. Right. Tell me about it. I have a tilde on my name. No one can say that shit.
Yeah, the only reason I know how to say your name is because of FIFA. So there you go.
Right, because you got a lot of Joãos in your teams.
Yeah.
Fucking your João Moutinho, your... Okay, so that would be Keyan Houshmand.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's a good moment right there. We've learned something on minute 1 of the podcast. Best value podcast you've ever experienced, right? So yeah, I've been with him since the very beginning, and I'm actually interested... If you, like me, started with a few covers, was it? Or what was it?
Damn. Well,
yeah.
When you say the beginning, I think what you're referring to is like 2017, 2018?
It was probably like 2018, late.
Yeah. Because I remember when I was like little, I would put covers up on YouTube. I was like 11, 12, and then I just didn't do anything for 5 years, and then
I don't mean those.
I can't remember. Yeah, I was gonna say, but like I can't think of like the first video that I did in that sort of era. One thing I do remember, the first like video was a plug-in demonstration of Joey Sturgis Tone's Misha Mansour Tone Forge.
I saw that too.
That was that's a long time ago now. So,
okay. Interesting. So
that was the one.
Okay, so that you would point that one as like the one starting at least this journey you're on.
Yeah,
that's interesting because I thought it was more music, but it was actually more gear. That video. That's cool.
Well, you know what? It probably was music. I just can't think of the video. It was just some cover or something. It would have been some sort of cover somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. Because that's cool, because that's actually very relatable to the kind of content that we see you do most now, or at least know you most for. Is interesting that it was a plugin demonstration back then as well. That's cool. Yeah, that's actually really, really cool. And I remember watching that video and seeing you play Periphery on that demo, of course. That's cool. I've probably subscribed you then. I remember you being sub 100 subscribers.
Yeah, that was... I remember after that video, I got like 250 subscribers and I was like ecstatic. I was like, this is like the best ever.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then,
yeah, man. Would you say... Because I remember you, and with Tobias, we've talked about this already, that there's a lot of talking on these social platforms and YouTube about this elusive algorithm, this very, very big beast that no one seems to figure out, and it makes everything a mystery. But we kind of have our triggers. Like, we kind of know what the platform often recognizes that people want to see most, because the algorithm is just responding to what people really want to see most.
Yeah, 100%.
And what would you say was really that, and I think I know what it was because I've been following you, that turning point video where you're like, maybe I am onto something here, like something I like to do, something that people like to watch, and the platforms actually boost as well.
So are we talking about YouTube?
Yeah.
I reckon it was those like plug-in type of videos, to be honest. And then, because it was weird, because I was like in the middle of uni, and like I still am, but now I have to be a little bit more dedicated to the whole YouTube thing. But at that time I was like, yeah, cool, whatever, like do a video here and there. And then in uni holidays, I just like bashed out all of these covers, literally like one a day for like 2 weeks. And those videos are still up on YouTube. and they never really took off. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever, that's fine. And then, you know, I can't remember what videos came after that, but I know your duo cover with me of Muscle Moon was one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a long time ago now.
It was.
Yeah, it was a very long time ago. But yeah, like there was that whole thing. And then, I don't know, I remember doing like a demo for one of the Fortin plugins. I think it was like the Fortin Nameless. And then it just kind of like built on top of that. And then if we're talking about like what pleases the algorithm,
right?
Knocked my microphone. I reckon it's definitely those like free tone videos. Those are the ones that really get pushed. Because I think it's just people like watching it, because who doesn't want free stuff?
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, I think that that was gonna be my guess, that your first free tone video, I remember it and I was like, oh, he posted this a day ago and he has 20,000 views. That's actually pretty crazy. I remember that.
I can't even, was that the Emissary plugin? Was that one?
Maybe,
because there's been a couple. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Because there was that one, and then there was like that Ninja one. That one's like my biggest YouTube video.
That's
by
cool.
far.
Wow, that's very cool. I also remember you doing, because I remember you catching onto it, because then you did like Periphery tone with no X effects.
That was another one. That was like another big turning point video. Yeah, you're right.
And I remember you being onto it like, okay, so I actually know a few things about tone from searching for it my whole life, and I can now share them, and the platform and the people actually really care.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because the way you talk about it is like, oh, like your whole life you've been like researching this whole moment. And like, while that video did take a very long time in the making, it would have been like, I don't know, like back in the day I was like very in the mindset of like, all right, like I love this band, I love their guitar tone, they've opened me up to so many new things. Like I want to learn how to mix, I want to learn how to record myself, this, that, the other. So first thing I'm going to do is figure out how to get their exact guitar tone. I don't have an Axe effect, so I'm going to see what amps they're using on the Axe effects, what IRs they're using, and they were using the ML Soundlab Mega Gent Mix 08 IRs.
Yeah, fucking Cav 8, dude.
That was for that was for P3. They use those ones. So like those IRs, and then like I would try and find an amp that was kind of like a Friedman HBE, because that was like the model that they were. And then like you read forums and people say like, oh, like before the firmware update, the amp sounded completely different. So then you get like lost this and that. So like, oh, it was literally just like a cat and mouse chase of trying to chase that. And yeah, like it did take a long time, but like I was never in that mindset of like, oh, okay, like I know what I'm doing now, and people like watching me because I know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna do this. It was kind of just like, oh, like I finally figured it out. Here's a video. You know what I mean? Like,
I relate to that. I relate that a lot. People can see us as authorities sometimes, and we're just figuring it out along with everyone else.
Yeah, I think about that a lot, like a lot. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
It's true. It can be kind of pressure because people will see a number. They will. It's what the platforms do, because it just makes everything easier. They'll see Keyan Houshmand at 25,000. And that number suddenly is like an authority, because you have X amount of people that listen to you and care about your opinion, so I should. And that's what the listener will think.
When you put it that way, it makes sense.
Yeah, you yourself, we ourselves do that. Because if we see...
Yeah, true.
If we see name 2.2 million, and they're like, maybe he kind of knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. 100%.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing, because if we had to sift through every minute of content, we wouldn't have time to live our lives. So those numbers give us a gauge of what. It's a weird gauge, because it's not a gauge of quality. We know a lot of famous people that don't want to help anyone.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
It's funny that you mentioned that we won't be able to live our own lives.
Yeah,
I like that's what I think about a lot, because like as time goes on, and like especially for you, like you're a little bit bigger than me, like things start happening, you start making podcasts, you start doing this, you start doing that. You can't commit the same amount of time that you would be doing other things before that you do now.
That is very true.
Yeah, and some people get upset. I've had people get upset at me before about it as well.
Like you didn't come over to our little meal or something?
No, not like that. More like What's what I'm trying to say?
You changed?
Like back at no, not like that, not at all. My friends still think some. Can I swear or not really?
Sure.
My friends still think I'm some dickhead that just plays guitar in my room, because I am.
Right.
But
Okay.
like, yeah. But to like others that watch us, they think that like, it's weird. Like I talk about it to my friends a lot because they just see me for me, but everyone else would see me and you as like these guitar people, like guitar puppets kind of thing. And that's all we do. We just sit there and play guitar all day kind of thing. And it's like, well, like, nah, man, like I'll go to lunch with my friends and stuff. Like I have a life. You know, like I can't sit here and like do this all the time. I'll go crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. That's part of why the podcast is the metal intent, because it's all about the intent. At the end of the day, if your intent literally is to just grow your stuff as much as you want and see that number beneath your name grow, you're going to do stuff based on that intent. But if your intent is to live your life to the fullest and just be the happiest, you will probably be finding a balance between...
It's all about that balance, that middle ground, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Self-awareness and intentfulness in what you're doing, so that you don't you don't either get lost in too much random time with people or stuff that's not going to get you any closer to any goal, and just only caring about YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cool,
There's
man.
like those certain things, I'm sure you'd know 100%, because like whenever a new song drops, straight away, all right, gotta cover it.
Right.
Because like I have to capitalize on this moment. This is what I have to do. This is part of like what I'm doing. This has to be done right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that exists.
But there's some, and there's like also finding that balance of like, all right, well, I want to like do stuff. You know what I mean? So,
of course.
Yeah. But like something has to give all the time.
Yeah. So it's always everything at the end of the day is opportunity cost, because you could be doing something else.
Exactly right.
That's why everyone preaches that you should be doing the thing you like anyways, because that's going to be at the end of the day, it's going to be the correct decision. So I'm only doing these covers because I like to do them. And that's how you can most motivate you to keep going on, if you like to do it. That's cool. Okay. So yeah, we're both known for guitar. That's true. And I play mostly, and you've gone, at least with your content, on this version that we've talked about of gear and tone, and this more technical approach to it. And people, of course, in different platforms, more Instagram, will care a lot about your playing and your riffs. But 100%. Did you ever expect to go on this more gear journey with your content?
No.
That's interesting.
Not in a million years. I didn't even expect anything to happen in the first place. And the fact that we're here is a bit strange. Yeah. But yeah. I honestly, man, like, I know people think I'm the biggest Periphery fanboy, and like I am, but like people, I don't listen to them as much as people would think I'd listen to them. But it's really because of them. That's why all of this happened. Like I had no idea about anything guitar tone related ever. And my friend one day was like, "Hey man, you should listen to Prayer Position." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And I remember the first time I heard it, and I hated it. Yeah. And I was like, nah, I don't like this at all. Everything's displaced. It doesn't sound right. And then you see a couple of videos, you see Misha holding his Mayonnaise, Regis, Evertune, True Temperament,
we know
fret,
the
and
one.
you think like, what is that? And then you just Axe Effects, this and that, and you're like, oh man, that's so cool. And then you just keep going and going and going. And
that's
then plugins and all that stuff. Yeah. So nah, definitely not at all.
Cool. Yeah. You say definitely not, but it's interesting that you actually managed to point a way in which that happened, which is you just saw him hold a crazy guitar, and you're very interested in what that was. You probably then learned about what different temperaments and about Evertune, pickups. That's
100%. Yeah, pickups weren't even like, I didn't even know the only thing I knew back in like 2014, 15. Or I like EMG pickups, because like I like Slipknot, and Jim Root uses EMG pickups, and they're metal ass, so like I want EMG pickups. You know what I mean? That was like my only knowledge of pickups, kind of thing.
That's cool. Yeah. And then when you start learning about mixing and how actually stuff makes the sound that it makes, you learn how EMGs are going to clip your waveform. You're going to learn how that sounds in terms of dynamics, in terms of low end buildup. That's cool. But at the beginning, all we have to go on, and a lot of people will, is he uses that, so I want that.
Yeah.
And that
you're 100%
that
right.
is very interesting, because now we're in that position. We're the he. People are looking at us to see what we use. And that is like big responsibility.
Yeah, it is. No. You're 100% right. Like I was thinking like, oh, is it? And then I was like, the amount of DMs or messages or comments you get saying like, oh yeah, like just got a set of Juggernauts, this, that, like your video's awesome, this and that. And it's like, damn, like I got Juggernauts because I saw someone else use Juggernauts. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's very strange.
It is pretty cool. I mean, 2 words, string gauge. That's all I need to.
That's the bane of my existence.
That's all.
Don't even get me started.
Oh man, string
Don't
gauge.
even get me started.
Okay, so all of the podcast has been bullshit right now, and the question I want to ask you is, what string gauge do you use for drop C on my 24? I actually use
the string source.
Okay, yeah, we're both friends of the string source.
We are. Yeah, we are.
That's
string source are great. They make my life very, very easy, and they make other people's lives very easy.
For sure.
Well.
I wish they were in Europe. But yeah.
Or show it in Oz.
Right. Yeah,
that would never happen. Nothing's ever in Australia.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a topic I want to get into, actually. So I'll actually skip to that. Guitar is cool, but tell me about Australia, because it's interesting, because I think as a musician in Portugal, I probably relate to a lot of what you might feel, as in feeling a little bit isolated from everything else. What do you think about that? I think it's very interesting where you geographically
I feel like
are.
You have it a little bit easier because you're in Europe still.
Yes,
so like
that's right.
So if you want to, like, you might not be able to walk in a guitar store and find a main, or maybe you can. Like, I have no idea. Neither. No way.
Of course.
There's no. Like, at least, I'm trying to think if there's like any place in Australia. Maybe like some really high end guitar store in like Sydney or something like that.
Not
Rather
even
just
in
like
my
little
capital.
Adelaide. Yeah. Right. Like even like the other day, I just went to the guitar store, and like they had like 2, 3 7-strings on the wall. And like they're always like super budget. They never have anything like really bougie on the wall.
Bougie, yeah.
And it's like the most bougie thing they'll have is like a 15 grand PRS that's like locked away in the glass cabinet or something.
Yeah,
like
the
that.
dentist guitar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good term.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I feel like especially with gear, at least in Adelaide anyway, it's very hard to get stuff that I like.
Yeah.
Like every guitar that I own right now, every single one came from interstate or got shipped from overseas. So like I would not be able to get any of those guitars in a guitar store in Adelaide. No way.
I see.
And then, you know, they say like, oh, we can order it in for you, this and that. It's like, well, nah, like I want to try it.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. That's actually a very, very big thing. And the point also is we can order it for you. Well, I can order it for myself. True.
Yeah.
And then I get the tracking. I don't have to go through a middleman. And this conversation is interesting because we have a lot of viewers in America, which is very centralized, and they can get a lot of things. And mainland Europe.
They can.
But we also have a lot of viewers in more fringe locations that are I will tell them, try the string source, and they'll say, oh, it's gonna cost me import tax because I don't know where, and I don't know where. And I'm like, I pay it too. But it's interesting. It is interesting because we consume a lot of American content. That sounds so stupid, but yeah, of people.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know
right.
what you mean.
And it's cool that people can have someone to relate to if they are not in those like main places, and if they are, that they really, really appreciate how cool it is that they can get stuff very, very easily. it's really been awesome
Yeah.
for us consumers, to be fair.
100%. No, I don't think we have to pay import tax unless it comes over 1,000 Australian dollars,
Oh, good. Okay.
including shipping.
Okay,
So-
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that would happen for a guitar, not like for a box of strings.
No way.
Cool. All right. That is
But
very
the shipping is still going to be expensive either way. So
That's
it
the
doesn't
thing, because
really
you're
matter.
there at that corner of the map. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see. All right. So, Keyan, this podcast has indeed all been bullshit right now. And here is the one question. And I would like for us to talk about this and actually extrapolate some cultural reason. Why does Australia have the sickest riffs? Why?
Because it makes us angry, man. It just makes us sweat. Do you know how annoying sweating is all the time? Fucking shit. So bad. And it just makes us angry. It makes us riff hard, dude. That's where John Brown got the name from.
Yeah,
Someone from Australia told him. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Right. But that's interesting. That is actually an interesting cultural justification, like about heat and about like the wild factor. It is a wild place at the end of the day. You have the periphery, which is of course habited, but you have a super wild center.
Just a massive, that no one ever goes to ever.
Right.
It's just like there. Yeah.
That is interesting.
No, I couldn't think, because like when you say like that, like you think like Polaris, North Lane, like Void Division, like all
And
these
when I say
Thornhill, like, all
riffs,
these
I
bands.
say the sickest metal, because in all genres, like the
Yeah.
heavier, like Thy Art Is Murder, the more normal, for lack of a better word, like Parkway Drive, more accessible. You have it.
Yeah.
It's cultural somehow.
I couldn't put my finger on it, man.
Right.
I reckon it's just, it is what it is. Like, I literally can't think of a reason. I know, like, the one thing I do love about Australian like heavy music is that everyone is very supportive of each other.
A good
So
scene.
I feel like a good scene is a very determining factor as to why there is so much good music coming out of Australia. Especially like recently, like Polaris, man. Like it's so strange to talk about bands like Polaris, because like I remember my friend, one of my dearest friends, Henry, he plays guitar. He's been playing for as long as me, but he's not as into it as I am anymore. But he's like, he could keep up. And he was the one that showed me Periphery. He was the one that showed me Polaris and stuff like that. And we would, like 2015, 2016, we'd just be sitting in music class, like watching Ryan Sue
Do covers on YouTube.
do his like, not even, it was like before that. Like so here for your like grade 12 or like the last year of your schooling, you have like, depending on what subject you do, if you do music, you have to do like a live performance in front of a group of judges. And we went through that. I went through that. My mate went through that. And even though Ryan was in Sydney, he went through the same thing. So I don't know what their term is, but ours is called SACE, the South Australian Certificate of Education. I don't know what it is in New South Wales, but he would have had to go through that as well. And he would have had to done a live performance. And we were watching him in our music class, and he did a cover of Guthrie Govan's Wonderful Slippery Thing. I don't know if you know that song.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, and it's so he did that, and it's so funny when you watch the video back. I remember it so clearly because like it's just like little Ryan Sue with his like Maynard's guitar, and he's loading into an Axe FX 2 that's like right behind him, and he would have been like 16, 17 years old. And it's just like it all started from things like that, and now he's literally in like one of the biggest metalcore bands I can think of right now, one of the fastest growing, one of like the most notable Australian metal bands at the moment. And it's just so strange to think like that parallel between that and where he is right now. Like it was his birthday 2 days ago. He just turned 24 years old. He would have been 16, 17 when that video was uploaded. It's just, it's so strange. So I think like the support from the like people around you and stuff like that, the scene around him at the time, and just around everyone in general, like, cause like you notice, especially with all these Melbourne bands like Thornhill and like Void Division, they're all very, very close. They all like have a really close circle.
Yeah.
So I think that's a massive factor in why Australian heavy music is kind of cultural, if that makes sense.
Nice. Yeah, I like that very much. The fact that it would be because of a supportive scene. Cool. Very cool. Yeah. can kind of relate to that in Portugal. We don't have a lot of heavy music, at least in these genres. So my intent when I started the channel was I wanted to find the people in Portugal that did this style of music and that liked it. And in the whole world too, of course. And that was one of the main parts of my intent, was that people are going to be looking for these song titles. So if I'm covering them, they'll find me. And
okay.
Yeah. And little
so
did
that was your
know,
intent.
Right. It was one of them. And what is cool is that little did I know that I would start to form a little bit of the Portuguese community kind of around my channel, kind of start building a new wave of Portuguese metalcore, which sounds really weird. But yeah,
I wonder what that would sound like.
Yeah, right. But funny enough, like I have been in part of the foundation of a few bands already. Like Soul Despair was my friend Pedro, which was a very big fan of the channel. I told him to go after it, and he came over and we wrote a song together, and he released it under that title. And he found band members around the country.
There you go.
Like imagine, like if you told me when I was starting the YouTube channel that I would be like the formation of bands in the country, that would have made me so proud of myself that I would have probably got there faster.
Yeah. True. Now that's actually awesome when you think about it that way.
It is.
It's like, because like I can't think of like a Portuguese metal band.
Exactly.
I can't. And
yeah, man.
Yeah.
We have a few in the more traditional heavy metal, old school, but no new school stuff. And
nothing past 2010.
I mean, yeah, a few, but
a few,
the thing is that I can name them and you can't name them.
Right.
Yeah. The way I have put it historically is that I would like that like 30 or 40 years from now, partially thanks to me, that people might even consider looking at Portugal the way they kind of look at Australia now. Imagine that we managed to form like a group of people making sound that people would care enough that it would actually geographically associate to the place and to me. Because to be honest, I don't care about countries. I could care less. We could be one nation. But the geographical location and being able to like, I created a channel and now there's a scene. That's like if you're
that'd
talking
be unbelievable. Yeah.
If you're
that'd
talking
be really
big
awesome.
Big goals, it is a super cool thing. And the thing is, we probably have that size of impact on people, at least on an individual level already, which is crazy. Like, are you aware of anyone?
I can't think of. I would not think that at all. In my case, anyway.
Because I know a lot of my friends tell me, Keyan's riffs, I want to riff like that guy. They do?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then just, I don't know, man, like, listen to some Periphery or something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We always have that kind of answer. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, it's very strange to think of it that way. Yeah.
But it's cool, though.
It is cool. It's cool. But then it's also like scary.
Of course. Yeah, man. The coolest things are scary.
There are times where like there are times where I'll forget that I like do the YouTube thing, and because to me it's just like I put my camera up in my bed. Do you know what I mean? Like it's nothing professional. I've got like one like $100 set of softbox lights on me right now, but then like I have to remember that like I have to watch what I say, because if I say something wrong and if someone picks up on it, I'm finished. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Maybe not finished, but there's a bigger responsibility. Yeah. I don't know how loose you get around your friends, but for sure, man. That's very true.
It is like a bit strange to think about it that way. But like I don't know, like you get asked questions like, oh, like, why do this and why do that? It's like, I don't even know why I do it, man. I just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. again, about that intent. It really is everything.
True.
Which is cool. Like, definitely, why am I doing it? And then you could just be doing it, which is also a good answer. Okay, so my man, let's talk music. What bands, like we both, here's a good way to start that, which is we owe a lot to Periphery, the both of us.
We do. Yeah, 100%.
We really do. Like we love that band.
We do. This podcast would not be happening if it wasn't for that band.
100%. Right. We probably would not have channels. Which is from your story, you definitely wouldn't, because that was like your paradigm shift.
It still is. Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, you'd still have your channel, I reckon, because you just do covers of everything and everything under the sun.
I mean,
that's sick.
But the reason I really got into this genre was Periphery 2. Not Periphery 2, Periphery as well.
Right.
But so maybe no, which is crazy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, nah. I'm just trying to think back, like, it was definitely like a 75-25% mixture of Periphery and Polaris. But then again, like Ryan and Rick from Polaris were probably inspired by Periphery anyway. So
as
it
well,
comes
like,
full circle.
we owe them a lot.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
People can there's even they joke about it, where you dismiss the gent band as a Meshuggah copy with some melody, like, but it's like so much more than that, and you can already tell because of the impact on the subsequent artists. Like, we're here because of them. That's
you're 100% right.
That's very cool. That is very cool. But recently, what has been on your radar? What has been inspiring you?
Straight up, Alpha Wolf, man. They are unbelievable, dude.
They're fire.
I get in these weird spouts where, like, I'll listen to the same thing, like over like a 3-month period. Like, there was like I had a Good Tiger thing, and then like I had a massive Thornhill thing for like 3-4 months, and it's always around when they like release music. I'll just like bash that. I can tell that it's going to be an era thing in the next coming weeks.
Oh my god! Have you listened to the new album?
Yeah, I have.
Don't spoil it. I haven't. After this podcast, I'm gonna do that.
You just need to sit down and like lay down like this with the headphones.
Turn on
man.
the candles on and just mosh. Dude. Oh man.
Nah, but yeah, Alpha Wolf for sure, man. Cool. I don't know what it is. It just sounds so good. Like they does. Know, like it's all just like chugs and like dissonant chords, but they know it's like they know where to play what chords at exactly the right time all the time. It's so strange.
It's the intent, man.
So strange. It's another Australian angry hot weather band
again. 100%. Yeah, man. I love Alpha Wolf too. And it's good that within our genre of guitar music, that's a very belittling term, but if you want to call it guitar music, we have so much to choose from. Whether we want to feel uplifted, whether we want to channel anger, whether we want to like learn and improve at our own instrument thanks to technicality of certain pieces. True. And right, and you rotate between them. So now you've been on a just feeling it and moshing it phase.
100%. Yeah, nah, because this is a fun little side story.
Yeah.
So recently I've been meeting up with this drummer who's my age in Adelaide, and we're just trying to get something going. But it's like, what would be some cool songs to play live? I don't want it to be like, I mean, they can be hard songs, but I don't want to sit there with like my strap all the way up and just like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I kind of want to just like riff out. So if we were to ever like play something, it's just all I can think of is Alpha Wolf, man. Just bashing 0-4 chords all day. You know what I mean?
With a major 7th chug, dude.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. See, that's the difference between you and me. You got the major 7th. They'll be like, oh yeah, man, 0 and 4 on the 6th string.
Of course. Yeah, that's a very good topic too, which is the limitation or not of knowing theory and knowing the theoretical names.
100%.
Because again, if you pull it back to Periphery, what everyone will hear is that Misha says, I don't know theory. I write what sounds good. A lot of people back then, they came to me with that. And I was like, that's right. That's what happens. Because the only thing you need to know is what do you want to hear? And then you need to know how to make it happen. Theory does not teach you what you should be looking for and what you want to hear. What it does help,
it gives you the tools.
Yeah, what it does help is that you might be able to get there faster, because you would know technically what's on your brain when you hear a certain pattern or sound. It would help you give it a name, which is something very human to us, like name it, and then accessing it as in a file on a computer. It does not teach you how to be sick. That's the thing that people will get that wrong. Is like, when I know theory, I'll be sick. And that's just a form of procrastination, because they kind of know that to be sick, if their point is just to like write 6 songs, dude, go write 6 songs, try your best. And if they're not sick, write another one. And if that's not sick, you write another one. But it's hard to admit that and go to do the work. And it's easier to fall back on, I need theory, or I need gear, or I need anything, really.
I need gear is a big one. Yeah. I need plugins.
Right. Excuses, man. Excuses as a musician are a very, very big topic, because the nature of our craft is that it's artistic and subjective. So we're going to be insecure about it. And a lot of people latch onto excuses. Gear, theory, plugins, and
mixing. That's another big one.
Of course. Here's the thing. I got so caught up in mixing that...
It worked, though. It did work.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's not like just an excuse. You do need to learn a little bit of theory. You do need to learn how your plugins work. You do need to learn how your gear works. What you don't need is to lean into it as a crutch. Like, whenever someone comments on my videos, and maybe yours, but yours are more toned, so they would know. They ask me, they literally say, Kemper or Rax Effects, what are you using? And I'll be like, yeah, dude, your mentality is already wrong.
Yeah, true.
It actually is already wrong, because you can, and you know where I point them to? Your channel. I say, go look at this guy's free tone videos. That is literally what I say. Your channel has been such a great resource for me. For real.
That's when people say, oh man, do you have tabs for this? Just check João's channel. You have tabs for us somewhere.
Go watch him play. Yeah.
That's what I think to myself. Like, oh man, I want to learn this Alpha Wolf song. Oh, I think
let's see if João did it. Yeah. And see, that's great. And it's great that you can be the guy. So again, without pressure of being an authority, I just say, Kemper or XFX, my man. And I'm like, if you think that you need to spend thousands right now on your tone, you're hurting yourself. Because you're literally hurting yourself. Those are great pieces of gear, but you're probably
100%.
limiting your creations right now by thinking you need them. And the way I disprove it is go watch Keyan. Go watch Keyan get the sick free tone. So yeah, thanks, like, man. Live on podcast. Thanks.
No, that's all right. No worries. I'm happy to provide free tone videos because they're helpful to me as well.
Of course.
No, it's just like when you say that, it's like I've gotten so many questions from people saying like, oh, like you're getting a quad cortex, you're getting the new DSP.
God.
And like, man, honestly, like I would love to have one of those things.
Of course.
Like that like having that right in front of me on my desk would be like the biggest thing ever to ever happen. But like I know that I'm never ever gonna need one ever. Do you know what I mean? Like I have no use for that whatsoever. It'd just be cool to have. I don't need it. I don't need all the inputs, outputs. I'm not playing live. I don't need all these extra features, this, that. So when people say things like, oh, Axe Effects or Kempus, like you don't even need the $100 plugin, man. You can get stuff for either like relatively cheap or free, or like split the middleman. Like, don't find one plugin. Like, find a couple different free ones, but then get like, I don't know, GGD Studio Zilla cabs for like $30, and you have like every cab you'd ever need ever, and you can just tone chase with just very little resources. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense.
Yeah. It's just, there's so many different avenues you can take. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like it comes back to what I've said before. We are blessed as consumers right now.
Oh no, 100%. It's ridiculous to what the amount of stuff that we have.
For real. And it's been very fast, because 2 years ago you didn't even have neural DSP, which is something crazy to think about.
No.
It's been
nearly 2 years ago though.
Yeah.
Nearly.
It's been it's been a very, very recent development. So that excuses people who will ask us like Kemper or XFX, because it has been recent, this development. But yeah, but it's been a great one.
The neural stuff, it was like, I know JST were doing some stuff, like they had their Ben Bruce, and then even before that, people don't talk about them enough anymore because they kind of just stopped doing stuff. But the positive grid bias stuff,
right?
That was like, I spent so much money on bias, bias amp, bias effects. It would have been like around like $600 for everything all up.
Oh my.
Yeah. So, because like I wanted to have every sound ever. And to me, when I'm like 16, 17 years old, I'm like, all right, I'm just getting into this. Like, what's like the most bang for buck way that I can get all the sounds I'd ever need ever without like, the way I saw it was like, all right, it's basically like an XFX on a computer. You can just get any amp, any cab, any whatever. And that was like a great learning tool, the bias stuff. But then like when you compare like the first iteration of like bias effects to like anything that like ML Sound Lab or NeuroDSP or anyone like that's done now, it's just night and day. It's ridiculous, man. It's only been a couple of years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Do you still use the Will Putney suite for your covers?
Sometimes, yeah. But it's cool to think that even then, that can be already replaced by Tone Hub. There's always something new. There is always something new, which is cool. And it's great. The point for the listener is that we've come down from $3,000 amp head and $1,500 cab to $2,000 digital unit to $100 plugin to free plugins.
Yeah,
it's
literally
we can't get lower. Probably if you connect your guitar through your computer without an interface magically.
Imagine that.
Well, yeah, we're waiting on that one. Focusrite or Audient or whoever. We are waiting on that one. But think of how low the barrier to entry has become. I think that is the point that can help break a lot of people free of thinking they need any piece of gear.
True.
Really.
True. But then it's also it's also like when you get into it, it is a little bit of a money pit. It can be.
It can be.
If you get caught up in it like I did, it definitely is. If you start buying Megami cables and stuff, it's definitely expensive. Yeah. Because like the way I think about it is like, I don't know what people must think. Like I have like all these Jackson USAs here, but like, you know, like I don't buy anything else, man. This is my whole, this is my only hobby. This is my like life. You know what I mean? So basically everything I earn just that I want to spend just gets spent. Like I don't really drink much. I don't do drugs, anything like that. Everything gets spent on music gear. You know what I mean? So like, the way I see it is if I want to do something, I might as well just do it right the first time. So I don't have to like spend $30 now, but then like if I want to upgrade, spend $80 later. Like I'll just get the Megami cable now and I'll have it for life because it's not going anywhere. It's not getting ruined. It's been sitting in my room. Do you know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. And I don't know if you get to this point, which I kind of am at, where I think if people understand this becomes the real unlock that you don't need. Because here's the funny thing. You hear people sitting on their Aaron Miller, listening to their Amphions with a Neve desk, and they're going to be saying gear doesn't matter. And you're going to be like, oh my God, here this guy goes again. It doesn't even need to be that big. You're going to be seeing me with a drum set there and like lights for my setup and cool stuff. You're going to be seeing Keyan with a few USAs, and we're going to be telling you gear doesn't matter. And you're going to be like, well, how is this possible? Like, you have gear. Like, so what's the logic behind it? And we're here live, always trying to prove you how low the barrier to entry is and how we live it. Because Keyan, the best content, in my opinion, I really love when he does it, that he does is free tone videos. Literally free. You need your guitar, a cable, an interface, and a computer. And you're going to have tone comparable to bands that you listen to on record. Just thinking about that and how empowering that is. And if you want to try me, I have some of the nicest guitars in the world right now, looking at them, and I'll be doing covers with my Squier Telecaster.
Bro, you were doing gent bass covers on your P bass.
I will be tuning to F sharp on my J.
There you go.
My Miller boy. I will be doing that. So this bass is 500 whatever. 500 of them, whatever they are. And the guitar 11 years ago was 200 of them. 200 currencies of the world. And I have a Mayones. And I'll be covering stuff on the Telecaster because I want to. If that 100%. If that doesn't send any message, I don't know, man. I can't say much more. It really isn't about the gear. If you think it is, you might be limiting yourself. That is the main point that I want to get to maybe a listener. Yeah, right. We are empowered as consumers in this sphere.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because I do understand everything you're saying, but I think of gear in a little bit of a different light.
Yeah.
Like, I've got my everything that I get gear related is almost like me trying to like fix a problem that I'm having. So like, I'll just like I got these headphones,
right?
And this was a big investment. And I was like, well, I don't have the best room set up, and like I want to up my sound game. So like the most cost effective way I can do that is not by like spending all this money on acoustic treatment and better monitors and this, that, the other. It was like, I'll just get a nice set of headphones that I can use as a second reference kind of thing. But then it's like, oh, well, like, did I need to get like these ones in particular? And it's like, well, like, not really. But then why did I do it? I couldn't even give you an answer. I just, I don't know. Strange.
No,
it's probably because I saw
makes
someone
sense.
else get it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think, and that's the epitome of I saw someone else get it. I think Nolly uses those, for example.
Oh, okay. Does it? I didn't even know.
I don't know.
There you go. That makes me feel a lot better about my purchase.
Of course. Yeah. Again, authority and how we trust authority. Yeah. It is a very, very real thing. Cool.
For sure.
All right, my dude. Yeah. I think that is the gear talk that I want to have more often. It's not, I don't want to what gear. I want why gear. It sounds like
it's funny you mention it, because I just did a video. It would have been like 2 weeks ago or something, like how to improve your tone. And like,
I saw that.
It's not, it's not getting a better guitar or an amp. Like, if you have to spend any money at all, it's getting the signal of your guitar into your whatever you're using better. Or like just simple things that are like free, like the setup. Like if you learn how to set up your own guitar.
Oh yes,
100%. That's one thing that can help you get better tone. It's people seem to think it's like one big thing, and it's not. It's little things. It's a bunch of different little things. It's like mixing. It's not one big thing. You can't just stick like an EQ on the master and just like shape it the way you want. Like it's all these little moves everywhere that make everything happen, kind of thing.
Yeah, man. It's cool. Yeah. I've always found that to be a parallel to our lives as a musician. Like, it's not one big moment. It is not. It's just
it's not.
It's just a ton of little moments of work that we build.
Little wins. I call them little wins. Little wins that happen along the way.
Cool.
Yeah.
Vibes. Yeah, man. We keep on working. That's cool.
100%.
All right. So what do you think is in the pipeline for like future Keyan? Are you seeing yourself winging it with these types of videos until you find something that clicks different, or do you have some cool ideas coming up? Not to say your ideas aren't cool, by the way. That was a horrible way to frame it.
I didn't think of it like that at all.
Yeah, I just being insecure.
I was just thinking the whole time. I was thinking about I like the videos that I'm making now, because like I wish that this sounds so bad. This sounds like I'm so up myself, but like I wish that when I was starting out with all this stuff, that there'd be someone telling me how to get free tone, or like how to do this and that, the other. So like, and the fact that like people watch it and are like, oh, that like this helped me so much. Like that means that's everything. Like that's
your intent.
Almost like why? Yeah, I guess so, a little bit. And like even like my friends who play guitar, they're like, oh yeah, man, like saw your video and now like I'm gonna download Neuro DSP. It's like, oh, that's cool, man. Like, thanks. You know what I mean? It's just things like that. Like, because at the end of the day, like someone else said, oh, I'd use it, and people are like, oh, okay, maybe use it as well. It's just like, it's just like the ball just keeps rolling.
Yeah.
But you know, I do like what I'm doing, like all the stuff at the moment. As far as like future plans, I don't know. I've said it for so long. I want to get an EP out.
Cool.
But that's just so much work.
It is.
It's so much work that people don't think about how much work it actually is. Because like the easiest part of making an EP is writing and recording.
Is the music,
that's like, yeah, that's the easiest part. Like I could do that like right now. You know what I mean? But like it's because now like we find ourselves, we didn't expect to be in this position where we're like making YouTube videos and stuff, and like we have like people caring about what we do and say. And so now it's like, well, if anyone has ever taught me anything, and like the people that I look up to, it's that like you should see these opportunities. Like if things happen to go right, like you should capitalize on these opportunities. Like why would I release music if I'm not marketing properly, or not like doing merch, or like if I'm not getting guests on to do guest solos and stuff like that? It's like all these little moves that aren't even like related to the music at all that makes it so difficult. So that's a big thing that's kind of in the back of my mind. But as far as like future me for the channel, I can't think of anything at the moment, to be honest.
Cool.
I like what I'm doing.
Nice. I think that is the single best answer. Me, myself, I know that.
What about you though?
Right. I always feel pressured to think about the next big thing. And it's also very good to just say, I enjoy what I'm doing. So that is awesome. Me, myself, I would like to get into more educational content. If you have seen my recent video about music theory and chugs, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people have been saying, that was like their favorite explanation of intervals ever, because I've managed to relate it to metal guitar, which is our audience. And to have had that such a positive feedback, which is exactly the feedback I was looking for, which was, you have made this so understandable to a metal guitarist. Seeing that that's within my potential, and that can really help people unlock new sounds and write new stuff and be happier with their music, that might be a way for me to go as well.
Right. It's interesting you mentioned that. Yeah, the whole like, because like I kind of dabble in like the teaching videos as well, but like I can't articulate my ideas properly because I don't know music theory.
It is so hard. Like, even if I know
it's so hard.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you'd know the term for like the 0-2-4 progression. Like I know that 0-2-4 progression, like that Mark Holcomb progression. Where it's like 0-2-4, 6, 7, 9, 11, and then back to 12.
Okay, yeah. Then you'd be referring to it as a scale. So if you're playing 0-2-4,
that's how I think.
Yeah. If you're playing it as 0-2-4, is the key 4 or 0? Just so I would
see. That's the thing. I wouldn't know.
That's interesting.
I feel like it's 0. I feel like it's 0.
Yeah.
If it's 0, it'd be. If I'm in drop C, it'd be a C minor scale. Is that what it would be?
C, D, E. That's interesting. See, because that's the stuff that we need to break down, and you're giving me good insight on what people would want to know. Because what is the 0 to 4 progression? Does this have a name? Can I better understand why I like this sound so much? That is a great way to put it. And that's how I think everyone should think about music theory. It's not really, I'm going to learn these names just so I know these names. It's you learn them in an applicable way. Every single time that I talked about an interval, I showed you what the chug sounded like if you were playing that interval, and I showed a practical example of a band doing it. Mm-hmm. And
100%.
That is the way to go forward, is to be very practical. Again, free tone, practical. You literally only have to be willing to do a few downloads. Yeah, man.
True. When it's interesting when you put it that way. No, I'm just thinking about like the whole theory thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, my whole brain just reversed to the top string. That's like what all my theory is based on. So like, if I like that 0, 2, 4, like that's just like they're just all like tones apart from each other, like whole tones apart from each other. But
correct.
Like, that 0, 2, 4 is like 8, 10, and 12. Like, or it's like 3, 5, and 7, but I know that I can add a 0 and then like a 2 in there as well.
The 0 and 2 makes sense.
Yeah. But then there's other ones, but it's like it's not in that scale. It's more like harmonic minor, like 0, 1, 3, 4, or like
that's a different
11,
sound.
12, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's again, you know the sounds. If I tell you 0, 12, 13, you know what that sounds like. Yeah. And if I tell you 0, 2, 4, 7, you know what that sounds like.
I do. 9.
It is 9. Why not 11? Why not 11, 0? Riff on that. Yeah. We know what these things sound like, and I would like it for myself to be the decoder of that, because there's a lot of people that are in that stage where you actually are, where you're able to relate it to how you play. And that is the important step. That really is the important step, is that you know what you want to play sounds like. But the step that can help, that maybe I can help with as well, is just you put a name on it and understand what it's doing, so that you can change it to be your own.
100%. Yeah, no, that's something I'd appreciate for sure.
Cool.
Like to finally like know what I'm doing. Because like it's weird, because it's all that muscle memory. Like your fingers know where to go. Like people are like, well, you can't read music. Like how do your fingers know what to do in a solo? It's like they just do. It's like, what are you playing? I'm like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the way the brain works, kind of thing. But if you can bridge the gap between what the hell you're doing and like actually knowing what you're doing, then that's when people start to go Super Saiyan
as well. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, if you merge the both of them. And that's what it's a conclusion I've reached with Tobias on the first episode, which is there is a reason why we're doing music. Because music, this sounds like a 40-year-old mom Facebook post, but music speaks where words fail. It is super true, because, and I say it on the Chug video, words are stupid. Words can be very limiting. That's why we really like music, because it can express different things that we might not be able to put into words very easily. When you listen to an Alpha Wolf song and it just makes you rally up hype like anything
Gets
else,
you G'd up.
right? What words would have done that to you? No words.
No,
that's the.
Oh no, I can think. I can give a few phrases, but
maybe
not like no. But no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean though. And nothing will make me want to jump around in my room and like just riff out to
exactly.
Alpha Wolf. Like, words won't do that. Alpha Wolf will do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that is the power behind it, and it extends to theory, which is like words in this analogy. Theory are the words. And we do need words. We do need to place them. But at the end of the day, it really is the sound. The sound is what matters. So if you, at the end of the day, come up with a cool 0 to 4 progression, the words did not matter. They did not. And you will learn them in the future. I think you will. And they will help you understand maybe what's going on in there. But at the end of the day, understanding what's going on there and the theorizing of it all, we should never let that deteriorate the point that it's about the actual sound is why we're 100%.
Here. I'm just trying to think back. Like I remember in school, there was these like you. I don't know how many people know this about you, but you know theory because of your classical background. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right. So you were into like the full flamenco, this, that. I remember like in the old YouTube videos, you had the nails and everything. You would have been like,
yes. I did play classical guitar and a lot of Spanish one at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where the theory comes from. But I remember like back in music class when I was in school, like you'd have these wizard kids who were just so good at theory and could like sight read. And then like there was like me and my friend Henry who would like just like turn the distortion on the amps and do squealies all day and just like be annoying. But it was like if you asked those same kids who knew all the theory in the world to like just play something, they wouldn't know what to play.
It's
but, like,
the just play something thing.
Yeah. But then like someone like myself or like my friend,
you'd
like
be able to spit out a riff.
Start riffing. Yeah, 100%. And it's like, well, what was that? I remember one time, I can't believe this just came to me. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but I think I just said it. I don't know, I can't remember. But like me and my friend, we were like the dark horses throughout our whole music thing. Like there was always like the jazz and like the classical stuff that our school would do. And me and my friend were just never into that. And I remember one time, the music teacher got me to play, like a pretty heavy song. I think I played like a Lamb of God melody or something.
Damn.
In front of literally like they would have been like grade 5, grade 6, and then my teacher goes at the end of it, she's like, oh, that was like amazing, like tell them some of the like techniques and the musical techniques you just did in that. And like I literally sat there, I was like, I have no idea what I just did. She's like, oh, come on, like surely you know something. And then I'm like, oh, I mean, like I did some like triplets when I was juggling, right? I literally have no idea. So like, if you were to bridge that gap, that's it.
Cool.
That's it. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Yeah. That's a key moment. I relate to that teacher because since I do have that vocabulary, I take that back because I apparently have no vocabulary. But since I have that thing, I hear these metal songs and I will be like that teacher. I'll be like, oh my God, he just metrically modulated the triplets into the new tempo. You know, that now is the new tempo. You know, what is the example? Like when Monuments goes from or Periphery goes from and they go from
yeah, true.
This doesn't happen in preposition, I don't think, but that's the example.
No, like that's in 12/8, but it sounds like it's in 4/4.
Yes, see, you do know a few of the names. That is cool. Like we all have a few words. It's always like this, and it's from those that where you can just start studying the rest of the terms if you ever want to. But the main point that I want people to take away is that you don't have to. If you're riffing and you're happy and you're getting your goals accomplished, you don't say, oh God, I do need theory.
All right.
You don't.
Yeah, no, I've never, like, sometimes I do think I need theory though, especially when you like listen to someone like Plenty or something and you're like, damn, like that was sick. Yeah. How do I write like that? And it's not so much of like, you can just listen to their music and like kind of mimic them. It's like, nah, like they're in their own world. It's like, how do they come up with ideas like that? How do they jump from like scale to scale and key to key? And why does it make sense? And why does this change sound good? You know what I mean? And it's things like that where like, I feel like, at least for me anyway, like I need to get a little bit into theory to kind of understand what they're doing.
Yeah. And that's cool.
Yeah.
And again, intent and self-awareness, because you have the self-awareness to be at that point where you're like, maybe this is the thing for me to learn, and you're going to do it with the intent of learning a few new sounds. If you do it without intent, you're going to get lost in music theory and accomplish nothing. And that's how people get frustrated at it, I believe.
Yeah. 100%.
Very cool, my guy. Okay. I think that's a good point that we can finish off this episode of the podcast. And people can find you on YouTube, everywhere else?
They can find me on YouTube. Just search my name, Keya. I'll be up on the screen anyway. I'm so used to like spelling out my name because no one can.
You are? Oh man.
Instagram as well. Mainly Instagram and YouTube. Yeah. I do have TikTok, but I don't post on that often. So it's mainly YouTube and Instagram.
Right. I want to see you do a few dances. All right, 100%. My dude. That was a great episode. Thank you for coming on.
No worries. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.